Hello, everybody. My name is Samu Forsblom. I work as a program director in Oulu 2026 European Capital of Culture project. You're warmly welcome to hear about our international possibilities, how to join to our cultural program and how to be a partner with our project. So about Oulu. We are the biggest city in the most northern parts of Europe and northern Finland. And we are the second northernmost ECOC ever in Europe. So Bodø in Norway will host European Capital of Culture year 24, and Umeå was previous one and a little bit down south in Sweden from Oulu. But also that means that the northernness and Arctic Europe will certainly play a key role in our application and what we are going to do. Some things about European Capital of Culture which might be familiar to some of you, but the first European Capital of Culture was Athens in Greece, year 85. And in Finland, there has been two European Capital of Culture before Oulu. So our capital Helsinki, year 2000, and then Turku, 2011. And of course, still, European Capital of Culture initiative is one of the most visible actions of the European Union in the field of culture. And it highlights the importance of cities as centers of cultural life. And really important thing in the cultural capital thing is the international cooperation, which opens door both to the local artists and cultural operators to the international scene and for the international actors to be able to make their projects in Oulu in the north. So it's all about cooperation. It's all about shared European challenges and dreams and how we can do them through culture. Our region is not only the city of Oulu. Our approach is the quite wide area. So it's Oulu plus 32 municipalities, cities and towns in the northern parts of Finland. So of course, one city must apply, but the ECOC title belongs to all our region. And all region will have an active role in the cultural program, and the open call project will take place in whole geographical area. So if you take part of with your project to our open call, so the implement of the project can be in this wide area, which is from the eastern border of Finland to the western border. And almost you could say the parts of the Lapland, and in the the southeast cities are Kalajoki. So really interesting area full of different kind of nature, culture, and interesting phenomena. In our application, which we want to title, we named our main title as a cultural climate change. And it's not only big mission for Oulu and Finland, it's also a big mission for whole Europe. And I think in this time, what we are living in different kind of conflicts, war, all the bad things are happening. We need more culture than ever. We need more people to join together and the sense of community. And cultural climate change works in two dimensions. In the first hand, it gives a hope through culture and art and making things together. But on the other hand, what we will do in a really sustainable way. And we are always looking to social and climate sustainability in all our actions, what we are doing. So our program will tackle the future challenges and build the dreams for the future. And in Oulu, I think the goals are pretty similar than many other cities in Europe as well. So in the future, we want to be more vibrant, gripping city. We want to have balanced community, so culture will become part of everyday life. And we want to build creative region which will show and cooperate with Europe, what kind of exchange we can make with Europe and with Northern culture. In our application, we told that we are going to make our cultural program through 3 different kind of themes, which in a way implement the cultural climate change. So they are Brave Hinterland, Cool Contrast, and Wild City. And about Brave Hinterland, it's the story of living in the edge of Europe. And I hope that Oulu will also connect our city to the other cities on the edges of Europe. So you don't have to live all the time in the metropole area to make the impact. You can have a really interesting stories, arts, culture life, also in the smaller cities in the hinterlands of Europe. But also our theme, Brave Hinterland, is about the North. It's about focusing also to the actual climate change, because we in the North live in the areas where we see ice and snow melting in a quite fast way. But the Brave Hinterland theme asks people to join to the story of the North, story of art and nature and Northern nature. Here are some examples of more specific program lines. Excuse me. So between East and West, we'll present different kind of projects which highlights our quite unique position in Europe. So Finland is located in the between East and West. So one of our project regions, our 2026 areas are located in the Russian border, and the other municipalities are located in the Swedish border, and that makes many things quite interesting, especially nowadays. So and there are root of tar, which was the basic ingredient why Oulu grew so big in the 18th and 19th centuries. And the root of tar is a river which come from the eastern border to the western border, and it also has brought a lot of culture in our region and connects many municipalities in our region. We have a lot of projects which combines great nature locations, great northern nature location with world-class art. So some of our art experience or events will be in that kind of locations, which you can reach by hiking or paddling or going to the forest, and that this makes our region really unique, because really a lot of our geographical area is actually forest and woods. A Northern Vibes program line is about ice, it's about snow, it's about ice sports and all the things which this kind of northern environment gives us a special flavor of our culture making. Then the second main theme, cool contrast. Of course, I can say that our nature is really contrasting. We have 4 seasons. We have a dark periods, and we have the period in the June when the sun doesn't set at all. But also we have really different kind of contrasting communities, people, ideas, thoughts, and we want to make more dialogue between people, between different groups, and join the contrasts with our theme. And one example of this is, of course, how to make artists and engineers in the dialogue together, because Oulu, as probably some of you know, is really known for high-tech experience and one of the birthplaces or really important locations of Nokia. And here's some example of program lines. Dark Matters, it's about light and darkness. So basically the light art, the light festivals, and the using of light in different kind of ways in all our region. And also to think that what this kind of extreme light and extreme darkness where we live, how it affects to us in here in North as a human beings. And as I mentioned, Art Loves Tech is our shall I say, flagship program of different kind of projects about digitality in arts. And of course, after COVID era, we all see that there's an open door for new kind of innovation where art and culture can be in the future with digitality. And Oulu Calling is about reflecting our northern location and stories of and different kind of heritage, what Oulu has gave to the world and what kind of roots it will have together with the international scene. And the last theme is Wild City. And Wild City is basically creative city making. It takes art to the places where you don't expect it to be. So here are some examples of program lines. Is Urban Boost. This is a program line for young people. It gives young people the opportunity to build the future on their own terms and to challenge outdated practices. So what we mean is that we give voice and possibility to young producers, young people working in the creative sector to start to produce their own events, own projects, and kind of show the future, what it will be like. Stream to the Future, it's a children's culture theme. Oulu is a really known good city from the children culture. We will build new children culture center, and we will celebrate Children Arts Biennale in Oulu in year 26. Creative Villages focuses to different kind of concrete buildings and creative centers, cultural centers, and how we can help and support those places to flourish in the future. In Oulu, for example, we have Pikisaari, really promising new location, and Hiukkavaara also the home place for artists and bands, and we hope to make something together for the year 26. Art Takeover is a program line where art goes to the hospital, universities, to the street level. It will be in the ordinary life of people, a big part of it. So art comes out from the houses and art institutions to the place where you can experience it. This is the map of our programs at this moment. It's not the map how we are going to market and communicate our program, but it shows the connections between our main theme, cultural climate change, of the 3 themes, and then the program lines, which are kind of home base for our individual project. And now is the thing that we want more. This is not the case. So now we will tell you how you can be part of our culture program, and I will give the floor to Henri Turunen. Inka Hyvönen, our producer. Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Samu. So as promised, I will tell you shortly now about what the next open call is about. So hi again, my name is Inka Hyvönen, I'm the producer of this team, and I will go through the basics of the upcoming call. So as mentioned, our next big open call will open this fall, the open call of 2022. The open call itself will be open from 3rd of October till the 9th of December, but we already wanted to share you the basic information to help you get started with all the planning that a lot of these bigger scale projects likely require. So we are inviting you at this point to become part of the cultural climate change. And as Samu mentioned, there is some projects already included in the program, but many, many more will still join. The next open call that opens this fall is specifically aimed at larger scale projects. So this means projects that take several years to either prepare or carry out. And we will also have a second open call for smaller scale projects, for individual communal projects, and this will be announced closer to 2026. The criteria and a more broader guide for applicants will be published in September on our website, the same website where all the basic information is found. But I will go through the basics at this point, and more information will be published later. So what kind of projects are we looking for? So the overall goal and aim of the Cultural Capital Program is to achieve permanent cultural climate change and enforce positive development, especially fueled by culture here in Northern Finland. The projects that will be included in our program are expected to deliver a European dimension. So this can concretely mean, for example, involving international cooperation partners, but it can also be just discussing thematics that are shared by us all Europeans. The focus of these projects should be on the year of 2026, naturally, but they might also start earlier if this is seemed necessary for the carrying out of the project and achieving its goals. What is also important to notice at this point is that we understand culture as a concept very widely. So it involves arts and culture naturally and in the more traditional forms that we might think of, but it also involves all kinds of urban culture, city culture, sports, for example. So it's good to also broaden your idea of what culture could mean in the concept of cultural capital. So what are the application criteria? So as mentioned, the criteria will be laid out more in detail in the guidelines and the guide for applicants that will be published. But to help you with planning, you can already think about your project and plan it so that there are a few key criteria that it should address. So the projects must, for example, be linked to one or several of the three main themes and program lines that Samu just previously introduced. They need to be ready to be delivered independently. So this means that we will be there to support and guide you in the process of planning your work. But these projects that we are looking for in the next open call must be such that you, your collaboration partners, your network or your organization is able to carry it out independently without our productional support. The projects should take place mainly within the Oulu 2026 region. So this means that the projects can also have some international aspects in terms of where they are taking place as well. But the main focus of the project should be here in our area. And overall, when you think about the project and where you're heading with it, we are looking for, and we hope that all these projects will have a wide-reaching impact and they will deliver the European dimension mentioned earlier. So also one good thing to think about in terms of the criteria already at this point is that the purpose of this open call is to support unique artistic and cultural initiatives. So our hope is here to envision and support you to think about program that can complement and somehow further your daily operations. So this open call, we are not looking for ways to support your daily activities or your daily organization, but for the ways that you can take your work a step further as part of the cultural capital. So then, who can apply? So as mentioned, the open call for applications that is opening this fall is open for both Finnish and international actors. So there's no restrictions in terms of that. All the applicants can also be representing many types of actors and organizations. So they can be individuals, they can be groups, associations, networks, businesses, organizations or institutions, so both public and private actors. But in the application, you must still indicate either a lead organization or an individual that is in charge of the project. So this is something you should determine beforehand as well. As mentioned earlier, the applicants must be able to carry out the proposed projects independently. So this is also something to consider when you're thinking about who is the lead organization or person in charge of the project, that you can ensure the continuity of the project. And as mentioned, the open call opening this fall is aimed at these larger scale projects, and the time for smaller scale local productions with a communal aspect is coming later in a few years earliest, but closer to 2026. So we ensure that also smaller actors and private individuals still have a chance to join. So then more practical matters of what type of costs can be covered. So generally the funding awarded can cover up to approximately 50% of the total project. So the funding that we give out from Oulu 2026 can be considered when the planning stages as covering the half of the overall budget. And then the rest can be obtained, for example, through sales of fees, grants, or sponsorships, or ticket fees, for example. And what's also important to note already in the planning stages is that if you are applying, for example, as an already established organization, the salaries of the staff that are taking part in the project, or for example, the volunteers that will be involved in carrying out the project, can be also calculated and included in the self-financing part of the other 50%. So this is also something that you can already lay out, detail and plan, and then include the budget plan in your application. In terms of costs, another notable factor is that in terms of infrastructure and property costs, which can cover, for example, the cost of daily operations like rent or repairs or any other costs relating to the infrastructure of your organization, for example, they can only be funded as part of the cultural capital program if they are seen as an essential part of a larger project, or they account for a reasonable part of the overall budget. So this is just mentioned at this stage already for you to think about a project in a way that if there's, for example, a location that you would like to improve, we of course encourage you to do that, but our program is interested to hear, for example, what kind of programming would you bring into that location, and how can we be part of that and help you develop that. So here's then shortly about the Open Call project. The process, as you can see, takes approximately a year. We are now in June 2022, and after this webinar, we will open the booking for the time slots for our help desks, where you can come and discuss your project plans more in detail with us. Then we will leave you for the summer to think about and plan your project further. And then in September, we can meet again at either our webinars or the help desks that we will arrange both in person here in Oulu and online. And the application process itself, the application form will open on the 3rd of October and will be open all the way until 9th of December. And as mentioned, all this information, all the registrations for the webinars or the help desks, everything will be all gathered under the same website at oulu2026.eu and Open Call. And after the application process ends in December, we will go through all the applications, and you should be able to expect the final co-financing decisions by 31st of May 2023. So shortly, just for the summer, the next steps for you to continue planning with your work, get to know our main teams very well. Think about how they reflect to your project idea, the work of your organization, and start planning. The next webinar, as mentioned, will be after the summer on 6th of December 2022. And our website will have all the information in terms of the webinars, the live events that we might held here in Oulu and in Finland in general. And we also will post up our frequently asked questions site on our website soon to help you with any questions you might have. Okay, so thank you. Someone will join me for questions.
Thank you, Inka. Now there's time for some questions if you have. Also, there has been a discussion in chat. No? No? Okay. So do you want to ask something or comment? Please open your mic.
Yeah, you can also write on chat or open your camera and microphone, however you prefer.
Okay, but okay, yeah.
Brent asked, as they say, no need to reinvent the wheel. if it already works. With this idea, how can an already existing successful international Irish culture festival in Oulu, whom already utilize European dimensions and eco criteria, further participate in the program?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question, but I think you are the most specialist in this project to think what could be the specific 2026 project in that context to be. And of course, if you want to book time to chat with us in the clinic or otherwise, so you are warmly welcome. But I'm sure that with this level where, for example, this festival is now, there are good chances to make really great project. And of course, the same thing goes with many other festivals in the great festival scene of Oulu and our region. And I think there are many ways of doing it. I'm sure there's always some capacity to build or do something extra special or try to do some new locations or new networks or use digital ways or whatever. I cannot name it. It's up to the festival to decide what is the thing or dream they want to do. But I'm sure that every festival will have something to develop themselves, and it could in that way fit to the cultural program.
Yeah, can I add something?
Yes.
So just
sorry, can I add something? I was just
yeah, please, and then I'll add something. Thanks.
Yeah, I just wanted to pick up on, I think what Samu said about realizing sort of a dream. I think that's a good way of thinking about it for already existing actors, whether it's a festival or event or an organization themselves. We're thinking about what could they execute and carry out as part of the cultural capital. I think that thinking about what you have always wanted to do, but for some reason haven't been able to, or haven't had the resources, haven't had the time, or haven't had the guts to do, then I think now is the time to do those things.
Okay, so basically, yeah, of course, I think I understand now a little bit better. Being, with the European dimension and the successes and stuff, what has been done, what hasn't been done, and what wants to be done, leading up to a big scale project that can already start going into 2026. So basically, it might be best, like you said, and I just wanted to get clear information, is to think of a project, think of a direction and everything, and then just basically present it to you guys, get some consulting or whatever, and then go from there, right?
Yeah,
basically like that. Yes, and I can also add about for the festival. So of course, one quite natural direction is to work with art content, so to do certain projects or
exactly like
cooperation. But then there's also this that's audience engagement side. That it's also possible to work with new types of audiences, what you want to reach, or do some community project. That's another angle. And for all the festivals, of course, some festivals already have quite good international recognition. But in the region's festival, of course, the European Capital of Culture will certainly give some kind of extra marketing and communication boost. And of course, we have to get international audiences. But as I said, some festivals need it more than some other. But the development directions can be in many directions, for sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Any other questions on the chat or?
No. No. Okay. So then we thank you. Thanks for joining. And please follow our channels. And I hope to get really good proposals and application during the fall and during the autumn, and please contact us if you have any questions. So we will help you if we can. Thank you and have a nice summer.
Thank you, everyone.